How did one single individual contain 6 people in their own house? Hey everyone, it's Lucky with Unfiltered Lucky. And today I want to talk a little bit about the reasons that I believe that these crimes were committed by more than one suspect. I also want to talk a little bit about the idea that the other people in the house did not hear these crimes as they were happening. So I'm going to walk through this crime scene in the manner in which law enforcement believes that these crimes took place, with one single suspect committing these crimes alone. I'm also going to be talking about the reasons that I don't believe that a single suspect would be able to commit these crimes. The first thing that I want to say is that this suspect seems very, very carefree. Doesn't really care about what's going on in this house. There's a bunch of cars parked out front, which means that there's probably a lot of people inside of this house. Now, apparently, this suspect has no idea who these people are, but doesn't seem to care. Doesn't seem to care how many people are inside this house, or that they don't know the capabilities of the people inside this house. You might be walking into a house full of people who have their own weapons. So this suspect doesn't know what they're walking into, but they really don't seem to care. So this single suspect disregards all of the cars that are parked out front and decides that they're going to enter this house through the rear sliding glass door. So the suspect enters through the sliding glass door, and then what do? No, they don't contain the bottom floors. They don't look around to see who else is in this house and where these people might be. They don't do that. They head straight to the top level. Straight to the top of the house, where now they've eliminated their exits and they don't know what's going on below them. There's 2 floors below them of people who could be doing anything at this point. But they're not worried about containing the rest of the people in this house while they're at the top level committing these crimes. It's almost as if they don't care. They don't care what these people below them are doing. So they get up to the top level, and I do believe that Maddie's life was taken rather quickly. And it's very possible that it could have been done rather quietly. But as I've said in videos before, you might sneak up on the first one, but you're not going to sneak up on the rest of them. So if Maddie's life was taken rather quickly, now this suspect who's acting alone has Kaylee, and Kaylee's awake and Kaylee's fighting. So now there's going to be noise happening, and this suspect has to be thinking about this noise, because it would seem that Kaylee would be screaming at this point. You know, Kaylee would be loud, which would wake up the people on the 2 bottom levels. But this suspect doesn't seem concerned about that at all. You know, this suspect doesn't just take Kaylee's life quickly. This suspect struggles around with Kaylee and then appears to attack Kaylee multiple times. They're saying that Kaylee sustained over 50 wounds. So this took some time. So this suspect wasn't worried about time, it appears. This suspect really didn't need to inflict that much damage on Kaylee. But this suspect doesn't seem to care about what's going on below him. This suspect just decided to spend a little time on the very top level. So after this suspect takes Maddie's life and eventually overtakes Kaylee and takes her life, you would think that this suspect is now thinking, I need to make an exit. So this suspect would probably be thinking, where is my nearest exit? Because Kaylee would have made a lot of noise. So now this suspect has to be thinking that everybody below him is awake and alert. So it seems as though this suspect would be thinking about a way out, which I'm sure this suspect is aware of this balcony and this door to the balcony in Kaylee's bedroom, which would be a pretty easy getaway going right over the banister of that balcony and out to the back. But does this suspect do that? No, not at all. This suspect decides to go straight downstairs, right into the group of people that he has no idea what they've been doing and what they're doing. So it's very possible that they could have already fled the house, called 911, or it's also possible that they could have their own weapons at this point, and that maybe they're waiting for him to come downstairs. But he doesn't care about that. He decides to head straight downstairs anyway. He heads downstairs, and at this point, he could easily walk to the left and be out that sliding glass door. He has a very easy exit at this point once he gets down to the bottom of the stairs. But what does he decide to do? He decides to go take on a 6'4" young man who he doesn't know if Ethan heard the noise that was going on upstairs, grabbed, say, a golf club or some other type of weapon, and decided to go check it out. So this suspect doesn't know if Ethan has his own weapon at this time. But this suspect doesn't care. This suspect meets Ethan head on and overtakes Ethan and takes his life. Now, this didn't happen quietly. That's one of the things that I don't understand is people keep talking like these crimes happened in the middle of the night while everybody was sleeping and that it was nice and quiet. These crimes were not quiet, I don't believe. These are multiple people being attacked with a sharp-edged blade. I do not believe that it was quiet, and I do believe that everybody in this house heard exactly what was going on. Now, Steve Gonsalves said in an interview that the coroner told him that it was a hell of a battle going on down there. Down where? I'm assuming that down there would be the second level, below Maddie and Kaylee's bedrooms. Now, when I hear the word battle, that doesn't make me think of, two people fighting. To me, when somebody says a huge battle, I understand that as multiple people fighting it out. So was this a huge battle that was going on or not? So once this suspect, gets to Ethan and begins taking Ethan's life, which is also going to make a lot of noise, we have to be thinking about what Xana's doing at this time. Because right now, Xana is watching this happen. Now, I don't think that Xana is just sitting there quietly waiting for her turn. I believe that Xana is screaming and making a lot of noise. I think that anybody in this house heard what was happening. So now this single suspect does overtake Ethan and takes Ethan's life. So this suspect still is not concerned about the other people in this house. There's still the first floor. This suspect doesn't know how many people are on the very first floor. This suspect also doesn't know how many people are on this second level. There could be a number of people, and this suspect doesn't know what they're doing. They could be calling 911. They could be climbing out their windows and escaping. But this suspect does not seem to care. So now this suspect has moved on to Xana. And Xana is awake, alert, and fighting. Not only that, she just watched her boyfriend lose his life. So by this point, I would have to believe that this weapon that the suspect is using, this sharp-edged blade, is definitely getting slick, is definitely getting hard to hold on to because of the body fluid. This suspect has used this weapon to already take the lives of 3 people. It could be very slippery to hold on to. It could be broken. You know, it could be getting dull at this point. So if this suspect did use this one single weapon, at this point, this weapon is probably becoming difficult to hold on to. And now this suspect is fighting Xana. So eventually the suspect takes Xana's life. Now, at this point, the suspect decides to leave the house. Still, seemingly not concerned about anybody else in this house, which is strange because this suspect doesn't know how many people are inside. So after the suspect takes Xana's life, he decides to leave. So he casually walks toward the back of the house. Now, as he's walking towards the back of the house, he walks right past Dylan's bedroom door, which is opened. Now, Dylan gets a good look at this suspect's eyebrows. So it doesn't appear that he's running or moving that quickly. Dylan gets a good look at the suspect's bushy eyebrows. Now, I also believe that it's very possible that this suspect also got a look at Dylan. This suspect knows there's other people in this house. So I'm sure that this suspect is scanning the areas around where he's trying to exit. So I do believe that it's very possible that this suspect saw Dylan. What does this suspect do? Does the suspect, think about, do I leave a witness? Should I take this person's life? This suspect doesn't seem to care that there is a witness. This suspect walks right out of the house, seemingly carefree. Now, what's really strange is that this suspect acting alone at no time appears to be concerned that 911 has been called. This suspect at no time appears to be worried about getting trapped inside this house by law enforcement. This suspect doesn't seem to think that anyone's coming. Why is that? The suspect is right. Nobody is coming. 911 has not been called. And 911 won't be called for another 8 hours. So I know that I said this suspect a lot, but I want to make sure that we all know who we're talking about. So I don't want to refer to him as he or Brian Koberger. It's just easier for me to refer to him as this suspect. Now, it seems strange to me that this single person who committed these crimes moved around this house rather comfortably. Think about this. This one individual took the lives of 4 victims in succession. So it was almost like ducks in a row. It was like 1, 2, go downstairs, 3, 4, and leave. That seems strange to me for somebody who has never been in this house and for somebody who doesn't know the people who live in this house. A single suspect wouldn't know the capabilities of whoever's inside this house unless he knew these people and unless he knew this house. So in my opinion, I think it would be very, very difficult for one single suspect to pull these crimes off. I just don't believe that one person could have done all of this. There would be no containment. So a single suspect wouldn't be able to watch their back. They wouldn't have anybody there to watch their back. You know, they wouldn't have anybody there to help them contain the crime scene. If this suspect is moving from floor to floor, it has to be a big concern about the people who are on the floors below him. What are these people doing? And that has to be on this suspect's mind the entire time. Now, if there were multiple suspects, you would be able to have containment within the house. You know, while one suspect is upstairs, you would have another person downstairs containing the crime scene, which would be completely necessary. 6 people is a lot of people in this house, and this suspect doesn't know that there's only 6 people. It's very possible that there could have been more people in this house. I just don't believe that one person committed these crimes in this manner with a sharp-edged blade. I don't believe that there was only one weapon. I believe that there were multiple weapons used. Steve Gonsalves also said in another interview that the coroner told him that Kaylee's wounds were like gouges, like tearing. Kaylee's wounds, according to Steve Gonsalves, do not match Maddie's wounds. It's not that they were just kind of different. Steve Gonsalves says that they did not match at all, which would lead us to believe that there was more than one person and more than one weapon. So it does seem like if there was only one suspect, this suspect did not seem very concerned about getting caught. That's odd. Steve Gonsalves also said that all of these individuals may have lost their lives from sharp-edged blade punctures. But he also said that there were more details about the manner in which these victims' lives were taken. So their lives were taken by these punctures, but it sounds like Steve Gonsalves is saying that there was more done to these bodies than just simply taking their lives with this sharp-edged blade. There was more damage done to these bodies and more details about the damage that we don't know about. So it's very possible that there were multiple weapons. So tell me in the comments what you think. Do you think that one single individual with apparently no history of violence could have committed these crimes in this manner by themselves? Do you believe that this suspect committed these crimes with only one weapon, one sharp-edged blade? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious about your thoughts. Now, please stay tuned for my next video, and please like and subscribe to my channel if you like my content. I really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.